in Abuja. Abi, over to you.
Yes, there has been a lot of effort made by this regional body, ECOWAS, to intervene diplomatically, not just ECOWAS, the United Nations and some other bodies around the world and countries have been trying to engage with the military junta in Niger, and they have flatly, outright refused to meet with anybody. In fact, they have gone ahead to form some form of a government appointing over 20 ministers or something. The only person who has seemingly got across to them has been the former emir of Kano, Sanusi, who met with the leader and came to brief the president. ECOWAS has said, look, they are getting ready right now to stand by. They have tried their best to assure the world and Niger that it's not a Nigerian thing, it's the whole of ECOWAS. But I'll be very pragmatic. ECOWAS at the moment, fundamentally, is Nigeria. And Nigeria will be the one required to bear the brunt of the money. Because compared to the other countries, the total other countries may not have the economic might of Kebbi State or something. That's on a lighter note. But the point is, Niger people are saying it's their country, it's their coup, and they still have the president under detention. Lots of people are making lots of noise about how, diplomatic noise about how the former president is being kept under uncomfortable circumstances. It's wrong. And it's important for us to speak here clearly and say coups are undemocratic and illegal. This is not an equivocation. They are wrong. However, many people have gone further to say the only wrong coups are unsuccessful coups. Thus far, it appears they are in office and in power. So we're anticipating what comes.
Okay, Abi, we're losing
whether
you.
Indeed echo ahead. Wow, is this any better?
Yes, better now. Go on.
Is it? So sorry, networks are doing what they do. So we're wondering at what point the ECOWAS force might strike. We know that they are backed by foreign powers, especially France, who sees themselves losing a lot of their economic foothold in this what is now called the coup belt of Africa. I am of the opinion that Nigeria cannot afford a war, not just for economic reasons, but because all of our brethren at the northern border of Nigeria are literally brethren of many in Niger. It would be bad sociologically for them to fight their own brethren. And last of all, we have so many problems here in Nigeria to solve.
But Abi, if you look at it from this perspective, that Nigeria has of the 400 million population we've got around the ECOWAS sub-region, we account for half of that. So we play a major part in this, and we cannot run away from this. But with the way it's going now, ECOWAS, you've lost Mali out of it, Burkina Faso is gone, and then you are having Niger going. So how many persons are left inside? So what is ECOWAS then now?
Not just that, we have to ask the question, why have we lost them? What kind of economic and government circumstances existed before we lost them? Remember, I do not justify a coup, but it should be a lesson to all the civilian leadership about how they must prioritize the lives of their people. I read where I hear that uranium is exported from Mali to France, from Niger to France, making sure that France has 24 hours power supply while Niger remains one of the poorest countries in the world.
Yes.
How do you justify that? So again, coups are wrong. I'm not equivocating, but leaders in these countries must prioritize the lives of their people.
Okay, thanks so much, Abi. I'll go over now to Joseph.
Prevent this wrong.
Okay, we'll go over to Joseph while you sort out the network connection. Joseph Obari in Abuja, let's quickly connect this story now. We move away from Niger issues as the standby force is getting ready. The only new thing we've gotten there was that there's going to be a standby force now. The defense chiefs in this state, in ECOWAS, are meeting. So it's more like showing them the red stove, meaning if you see this red stove, if it will hurt you if you touch it. That's basically what they're saying now. We will move in if you don't want diplomatic issues, dialogue to come into it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a matter of, I think it's a strategic move to just make a statement that they were ready to back their words with action. But whether this really goes on to happen, it's a different matter altogether, because there are consensus and concerns, even in Nigeria, whether deployment of force really will achieve what is intended to achieve. It's a concern. And the US also is concerned about what's happening and has interest. And we know that there are international connections to do all of these things. The international dimension we play into this. And then we see also how this changes the wider interest of West African countries vis-a-vis their relationship with France might be redefined by what's going on in Niger.
But then it seems the leaders of the sub-region lost the momentum there, because as of yesterday, as AB has mentioned, they've announced a cabinet already. So while we were still foot dragging, the government itself just went ahead. The junta now, after announcing a cabinet, do you think they want to back down now?
The truth is that ECOWAS really doesn't have any control over what happens in Niger. So it's not as if ECOWAS could have prevented anything happening in Niger. Yes. The leaders of the coup in Niger actually are pressing ahead with their decision to want to neutralize the government that they took over from and put it into abeyance. So some of the moves are made. The solidarity from Mali and Burkina Faso and all the rest of them are just to stamp the authority and to say, look, our people are with us. You may do whatever you want to say whatever you want to say, but our people are with us and they support what we are doing. And so whether it is really true or this is just about the flag they're carrying to legitimize what they are doing is a different thing altogether. And we know that the concerns of Africans as to the relationship with their previous colonial administrators has been one that has been one-sided and unfavorable to our African countries. And the question is, what has been done by African leaders ever since to correct this imbalance? And this a group of people come up and say, it's enough. We've had enough of this. Then, of course, it's going to strike a chord with the people who feel that they have suffered this enslavement for too long. Whether these leaders are sincere is a different thing altogether. We've seen that even in Sudan, the leaders who pushed away democratic government and ended up with being to enrich themselves. They reap from some of this wealth that their countries have, and eventually they lose sight of the real issue. And that's where the danger lies. There are no guarantees that those who are taking over now in Mali are then going to do anything better to change the relationship between their country and their former colonial governments.
All right, Joseph, let's move on now. I'll stay with you on this one because it has a legal perspective, and this is coming from the Vanguard newspaper. Emefiele versus the federal government. Court adjourns till August the 25th for more to decide. So it's a bit of the story here saying that a federal high court sitting in Lagos adjourned till August 15, 2023 to hear the application by suspended governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, seeking to stop his prosecution by the federal government.
Well, it's a lot more of just a procedural. The whole thing is just procedural activity. Emefiele is trying to get the court to say that his trial shouldn't continue. And then the federal government came up with a counter measure by trying to deny him the bail he has already got from the court. So the whole lot of just procedures, the court said, okay, what you are applying for, the two different applications, I need to hear both of them, so let's have this party its own argument made. You should be able to reply to that. Emefiele should be able to reply to the counter affidavit made by the government challenging his bail, while the application by Emefiele to stop his trial will also be taken together. So the time given is for Emefiele's team to reply the other party about their counter of their bail application. The bail has already been granted. So it's sometimes people may see in this some kind of bad faith on the part of government or DSS to continue to keep Emefiele incarcerated, by not letting him enjoy the bail he has got from the court. And so one of the arguments the Emefiele's team made was that they are in contempt of the court because they have not respected the court. DSS has been arguing that, they have always respected the court. And so it's a back and forth between these two parties. At the end of the day, the thing is what we know is that Emefiele is still in custody of DSS. And we all remember all the drama between the DSS and the correctional services officers and all that. It's just that it looks like the government is determined to keep him in custody for as long as they want to.
Okay, Joseph, thank you so much. Let's go on now to AB Bozimo. And this next one is from the Daily Trust newspaper. Federal government to adopt more measures against banditry. So says Shetima, the vice president from the Daily Trust. Walk us through in 3 minutes.
A lot of this basically has to do with more of the promises. We shall, we will, we intend to. And I would have really been more comfortable if some of these stories were more reporting achievements rather than more intentions. There's been a lot of suffering to the residents of many of those states from the activities of terrorists. I don't know what a bandit is. If the person comes to my village, kills, rapes, murders, destroys, and causes arson, that is a terrorist. And whatever name you want to give them, they are engaging in criminal behavior, and enough of the intentionality. We want actions and we want reported results. Other than that, the story is a non-entity in my view.
Wow, AB, this is a summary from you just saying pish posh. That's what you've just said right now. So
no, I feel the same way about it. It's neither here nor there. It's just an empty statement,
Okay, so let's get on to you now listening. You can be part of the conversation by sending messages up to 0809-444-0981. Messages are here for us, gentlemen. So let's begin with this one coming in from Pastor Dakbo. Okay, Pastor Dakbo sent in this one. Let's see, what time is it? Is this for us? No. Let's go to Ken Ihetuge. Good morning. Threatening to kill Bazoum is a statement made from the position of fear and weakness, and it is now bordering on terrorism. ECOWAS should move in and remove the coupists. That's from Sir Ken. Thank you so much for the message in here. I see Chubike Roy Agu sending this one. He says, why does this Niger coup drama and the support for it from some neighboring countries feel like a collective revolt against French colonialist control? As alluded to already by AB and Joseph, it's the hand is there. It's not the monkey's hand we see in the pot of soup already. It is a human hand already. And so let's continue with the message here. It says, well, why does it feel like ECOWAS and of course Nigeria's leadership is just doing the bidding of France and the rest of the West? Chibike sent in that one. And then comes Joseph Meyi from Silver Estate, Ejigbo, Lagos, saying, good morning, my ever vibrant. And it goes on, your analysts, AB Bozimo and Joseph, why is Nigeria ECOWAS so keen on spearheading the invasion of Niger Republic? Inflation, hunger, insecurity everywhere. Rising cost of food, transport, electricity, gas hike. by the side, yet the lawmakers are going on holiday and probably checking their emails for prayers, but that's by the side. Why the federal government is busy planning, embarking on a war path? That's from Joseph Menye. And I see Yinka Bolu with this message. It's quite a long one. It says, what is the capacity of the stadium in Niger where supporters were cramped? Is it less than 30,000? Does this number reflect the views of all Nigerians? Protests broke out 2 days after in support of Bazoum and was subdued. Are you aware that President Bazoum is from a minority in Niger, and this does not sit well with some people there? Why is this being discussed? The problem with ECOWAS was allowing coups in Guinea, Mali, and Burkina Faso to stand. The whole of Africa cannot be wrong. So it's let's put sentiment aside. Is your uranium being exported for free? If you did not negotiate properly, it is not anyone's problem, not even France's. I fully support ECOMOG being on standby and urge our people to refrain from spreading false narrative about last elections. Well, that's a lot of message. And let's get Ishe's message in before we go. This one comes in from Ishe. It says, good morning, guys. If the people of Niger are happy with the current situation, why is ECOWAS butting in? Nigerians are yet to get answers, closure to a whole issue of examples like NSAS, elections, Senate sharing prayers for holiday. That's from Jane. Let's not forget insurgency. So that's what she says we should focus on in terms of the government of the country. So let's get back to the papers this morning again now, and let's go to Joseph straight away. Okay. Who had the ball last?
Abi had.
Okay, so it's your turn now. So let's go on to get this one quickly in here. This is sharing banditry. So we go to Joseph. Passengers are groaning over hike in fares and gridlock. This is a story relating to people on the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, but take us through this story.
Yeah. I mean, it just tells you that it shows the inadequacy of whatever measure the government is taking to cushion the harsh effect of the withdrawal of so-called withdrawal of petroleum subsidies. And the Lagos state government had made a pledge that they were going to appeal to transport owners to be considerate and reduce their fares, but we see that's not happening. So everywhere people are suffering, there is no commensurate effort from government to mitigate this. I mean, people who used to pay 400 naira are paying 1,000. I mean, how much do you earn? If you're doing business, how much do you earn a day to be able to cover such costs from nowhere, just from nowhere in a very short time? So it is time our government match words with actions. It's not enough to just promise, oh, we are going, how many buses can you put on a road that can take people? These are practical solutions that are needed now, needed urgently. And honestly speaking, it just bleeds our hearts when you realize that all the efforts made are simply like wishes. You know, they are just statements, expression of wishes. There is no tangible solution to the average Nigerian who is feeling a bite today. So if we had talked to Innocent, maybe to say, deploy this number of vehicles, we pay for it, let it go out, it's guaranteed, the money is there, that vehicles will be provided. It is a tangible thing, then people can be relieved. People who are going through these experiences will see the result. So it's not when you want to wait to deport luxury vehicles from Brazil, from wherever, will take several months before they are deployed, and so it doesn't really solve. By then, who is still alive to enjoy whatever so-called intervention you're making? So our approach, government approach, should be practical. It should be practical. Solutions being provided and offered by government should be practical and realistic. So you don't tell me you're going to help me, and then by the time the help comes, I'm dead.
Okay.
That's what is happening today. So,
Thanks so much for that.
May I just add something here?
Yes, please do.
Reacting to the situation, the Lagos Sector Commander, FRSC, Babatunde Farinloye, said the gridlock was due to the religious activities going on along the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. He himself spent over 3 hours in traffic. So you can imagine all the transporters similarly spent that time in traffic. With the cost of fuel, therefore, the
prices for
additional cost is there.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to say is this: those religious activities have existed for decades. At this point, we made a railway between Lagos and Ibadan. Would it not have made sense for that railway to have had significant stations around that place so that people can get to those locations by train? Wouldn't that have made the train system much more economically viable? I don't understand how such a low-hanging fruit was missed in the planning of that train ride. I'm just saying there is something very unfortunate when people are praying as much as they can to God in these activities and others are cursing the traffic caused by it. There's something amiss there.
Yeah,
In
but
one breath,
that same railway station that they were going to strip the gauges by people. So it's a complex problem for us.
yes, it's a
Honestly.
complex one. Some are praying, like AB has just summed it up properly here. Why in one breath, some are praying about the
Cursing.
situation of and some are cursing because they are caught up in the gridlock. And in that process, the transporters would also want to cash out from the situation. So let's stay
Of
with
course.
AB. So AB, this one is yours from the Punch newspaper. Southeast governors order clamp down on criminals. It seems they are awake finally now to begin to bring some sanity to the region, AB.
Who are they ordering?
Yeah, probably security operatives at this time.
Do they have the constitutional authority to order the security forces in Nigeria? I believe, and Joseph will correct me, that there is one solitary commander-in-chief of the armed forces and security forces in Nigeria. That person is in the office of the president. They can meet. First of all, I applaud them taking a stand. It is important. This is a long overdue stand. They have just been lurking in the shadows all this time, while the subjects, the population in those states has been under siege. So now they're coming together, good. But when they're, I'm using it, maybe it's just the headline, the order clamp down. Who are they to order security forces? They have no authority whatsoever to order the security forces. What they must do is collaborate very closely with the president and the presidency to get the deployment. But at all times, that deployment must be sane, it must be safe, it must respect the rights of ordinary Nigerians within those areas, because we've heard too many stories and seen videos where sometimes some security forces go into villages with high caliber weapons and start shooting into buildings, causing avoidable damage, death, and destruction. Whatever you're doing, you must be very surgical, identify, locate, and take out the miscreants.
Yes.
Anything out of that is wrong. You cannot inflict more pain on an already suffering set of people. So whatever is being done must be done respecting the laws and rules that guide Nigeria. That's all I'm saying. But I'm happy to hear that they have finally come out to say this is no longer acceptable. It's not acceptable that roughly 20% of the time and productivity of some of the most productive people, not just in Nigeria, but around the world, is kept behind doors where you say stay at home. It's not acceptable.
All right, two more stories before we go, but let's rush down to messages. They're piling up. And Dami from Anthony comes in and says, why is the executive branch of government even bothering with the shenanigans of paying lip service to judicial proceedings? Let them do what they will and them the consequences. That's what Dami says. Pastor Dakpo comes in saying, good morning, Smooth. Those vicious people aren't joking and will kill the former Niger president if wrong steps are taken. The stubborn way President Ahmed seems to be going about this Niger coup issue calls for concern, and one really wonders whether or not the man has some personal interest in the whole scenario, considering his sentimental attitude against all odds. Your people and national interests should always come first prior to trying to flex some muscles. That's what Pastor Dakpo says here. Ken Ihetuge says, threatening to kill Bazoum is a statement made from the position of fear. Okay, we've seen this before. Jerry says, okay, just the conclusion of the matter. Give us security, we're tired of the rhetorics. That's according to Jerry. Bumi says, history has shown that coup plotters never have the interest of their people. They're only interested in enriching themselves. Dollar from Ogudu. Abbas Oladepo says, people that don't know anything about Niger have suddenly become experts in what happens there. We forget that Nigeria and ECOWAS has a lot of investment along the corridor, and why do we allow the government position to something about legitimacy of the president? What a narrative. I come back now to Joseph. Help us walk through this story if you can, in a minute. Nigeria joins Cisco Country Digital Acceleration Program. That's according to the Vanguard newspaper.
Yeah, this is a private initiative by some companies, organizations, to deepen the digital experience in Nigeria. And a lot of young Nigerians already deepening their skills and expertise in telecommunications, and particularly digital technology. And this project is intended to even enhance that. It is called the establishment of what they call EDGE, which they say is translated to mean, I think I saw that somewhere. Just 1 second.
Experience, design, go to
Experience,
market and earn.
And go to market and earn, yeah. So that EDGE initiative is meant to help small and medium scale participants in digital technology and improve their access to the global market in these areas. And I think that this deepening is very important. Government cannot do all of these things, so it's important that we have private players who can create the enabling environment for our young and budding developers and those who are into coding and all of this that digital technology offers. Let us recognize how much India, for example, is earning from all of this. So
thanks. All right, so Abi, close us up with this story from the Punch newspaper. Cooking gas to rise next week, says marketers. The summer is over.
Boom.
And winter is here.
Boom. that's a mic drop moment, because get ready for more difficulty as a Nigerian, while your resources and mine are being directed to fight a war in Niger. That's all I have to say. Get ready to suffer some more. There's nothing wrong with policies that are being rolled out by the president, but it's like a surgery. You have to add anesthetic before you can cut off the man's limb. We're being subject to surgery without anesthesia. That's what's going on in Nigeria. So gas is about to rise next. And just more woes.
Okay, so that's where we get back to some more messages and just close it up here. I see Idima Puza from Surulere. Nigerians are in support of the coup d'etat in the land. President Tinubu should mind the insecurity problem in Nigeria. And then that's just a summary of what Idima Puza sent in. Yemi, also, I see your message and thank you so much. I live in Mowe, work in VI, so I ply the route daily. Traffic stops at Ojodu Burger bus stop where the road construction is taking place. From that burger bus stop is free road. I drive 120 kilometers from there. People need to be careful
Illegal.
What they say. Yeah, that's what he says. Then Austin, I see your message from Satellite. Good morning. About the insecurity in the Southeast, I believe that some individuals outside the Southeast are sponsoring the insecurity in the Southeast. Well, I see Gilbert, also your message. Jinka Bully, your message is also here. Thank you all for your messages. Concerning the last story we took, Abi, I need to remind him that you are not Nostradamus and you're not the prophet of doom with that last story, but I want to say thank you so much for shedding light into the stories today. Obari, thank you so much.
Thanks so much, Omatseye. All the best. Lagos, everybody have fun, stay well. Enjoy your weekend.
Have a great weekend, guys.
Have a great weekend ahead. Thank God it's Friday.
I hope you enjoy Stash and Banga, everybody.
All right, guys. Bye for now. Don't make me feel homesick.
Bye for now.
All right, it's a wrap on Freshly Pressed on Smooth 98.1 FM. Stay with us at 15 minutes past the hour of 8 o'clock. Tega Onojaife will be here for the locker room. Don't go away.